7 years ago, Steve Jobs asked Walter Isaacson, a former editor of Time magazine, if he would write his biography. Isaacson, who has done books about Benjamin Franklin and Albert Einstein, thought the request presumptuous and premature since Jobs was still a young man. What Isaacson didn't know at the time, and only a few people did, was that Jobs was about to undergo surgery for pancreatic cancer and was feeling his mortality. It speaks to the secrecy with which Jobs conducted his life and his business, adding mystery to an already compelling figure. In 2009, with Jobs already gravely ill, Isaacson began the first of more than 40 interviews with him. The last was conducted a few weeks before his death. Some of them were tape recorded, and you will hear parts of them tonight. "I have no skeletons in my closet that can't be allowed out," Jobs said, and like a well-timed Apple launch, the book, titled simply Steve Jobs, will be in stores tomorrow, just 2.5 weeks after he died.
The story will continue in a moment. When Walter Isaacson first began working on the book, which is published by Simon & Schuster, a division of CBS, Steve Jobs' wife, Lorene Powell, told him, "Be honest with his failings, as well as his strengths. There are parts of his life and his personality that are extremely messy. You shouldn't whitewash it. I'd like to see that it's all told truthfully."
He's not warm and fuzzy, you know?
And to do it, Isaacson interviewed more than 100 people. Jobs' friends, family, co-workers, and competitors.
I think it's a tough book.
It's a book that's fair. I mean, this is a real human being.
Yeah, lots of flaws.
He was very petulant. He was very aggressive. He was very, very mean to people at times. And whether it was to a waitress in a restaurant or to a guy who had stayed up all night coding, he could just really just go at them and say, you're doing this all wrong. It's horrible. And you'd say, why did you do that? Why weren't you nicer? And he'd say, I really want to be with people who demand perfection. And this is who I am.
Isaacson believes that much of it can be traced to the earliest years of his life and to the fact that Jobs was born out of wedlock, given up by his birth parents, and adopted by a working-class couple from Mountain View, California.
Paul Jobs was a salt-of-the-earth guy who was a great mechanic, and he taught his son Steve how to make great things. And once they were building a fence, and he said, you got to make the back of the fence that nobody will see just as good looking